Hello. Today I'm not really going to do a talking head video intro. Hello, I'm still here. Um, but I did want to finally do a comprehensive review and walkthrough of one of the decks I've probably used the most in recent years. And it's right here. This is the Demon Possessed Tarot, and so originally it was a Kickstarter project, and so I didn't get it on the original Kickstarter. However, I did get it when it was put on the shop. The leftovers from the Kickstarter were put up onto his shop. And so it was, limited release. I think there were 1,000 copies. I was really lucky and got it right before they sold out. It has since been released mass market as the Occult Tarot, and that deck's a little bit different. That deck is available to everyone. It's widely available. It's not limited number, but there are some major differences. I don't have it myself, but from pictures I've seen, the backs of the cards are different. I think that the edging is done in red on the Occult Tarot. The Demon Possessed Tarot has gold edging, and the cards themselves, the Occult Tarot is white, and these have an aged parchment kind of look. I've heard that the guidebook doesn't really go into much detail, but I don't have the guidebook because this didn't come with one. So this is the bag that it came with. Black velvet on the outside, Sacred Seal of Solomon on the front, red satin lining. It's a nice bag. It's held up really well. It's kept the cards nice. This is absolutely a workhorse of a deck for me, and during this I'm going to go ahead and pepper in how I work with the deck, because I've seen a lot of reviews lately of people who don't work with demons, haven't worked with the deck, and got a review copy of the Occult Tarot, and they're like, I don't know what the use for this is. Well, let me tell you. So we're going to start out. The backs are pretty simple. I mean, it allows for there to be reversals without you realizing it until you draw. That doesn't heavily matter. Most people don't use this as a direct tarot deck. And for the most part, I agree with that. I think that it can be used as a tarot deck. It can be used for tarot readings. However, it's a little bit complicated, so I'll get into that later. So, first of all, I want to say this cardstock is amazing. This gilding has not rubbed off or broken off. It's all very solid still. And I got this deck in 2019, I believe. And it shuffles like absolute butter. Now, that matters a lot to me because I do a shuffle like that, and the cards aren't bent. Like, I've been shuffling this deck that way for the last 2 years, and the deck's not bent. That means a lot to me. Cardstock means a lot to me. It's a sensory thing. These are good, sturdy cards, and if I want to do a hard shuffle like that, I can, without worry of bending or breaking cards. I have a few decks where I can't shuffle like that, and it's frustrating. I had to completely learn a new shuffling style in order to work with those decks. But anyway, getting to the cards. So each card, let's go ahead and use Aerith here. is going to have a tarot attribution, which the creator put on them. I don't agree with a lot of his tarot attributions on here, but that's neither here nor there. So they have the tarot attribution, they have the number of the demon in the Goetia, the name of the demon in Hebrew, illustrations, often from the old grimoires, some of them are different, and then they have a basic summary of the demon. I'm not sure where he got some of these summaries from, because they don't match what's in the Goetia. And there's a few of them that I'm actually really irritated by, and equally irritated by the attribution, but we'll get to those ones. And so they have the alternate names, and then they have multiple sigils, and I believe that's the angels. Anyway, so that's the basic layout of these cards, and there is one for each of the 72 demons in the Goetia, but, here's Belial, but he has also gone and done them in order to make it a full tarot deck, he's had to add other demons-ish. I say demon-ish because I don't consider one of them a demon. I don't consider two of them a demon. Let me find them real quick. So I'm going to try to go through these a little bit here. Here we go. Let me go ahead and find all of the ones that don't actually match with the Goetia real quick. And I will go through those separately in a second. Actually, I want to put... Where'd you go? There we go. There's a few I want to put aside to spend a little bit of extra time with. And so, okay, yeah, there we go. I am contractually obligated to show you this one in depth. This is Murmur. He's number 54. And I'll touch back on that in a minute because there is something I want to say on that. Okay, so I've done a little bit of separating out here. And I could make this a super long video and show you a long time each and every card. And if people would like a video that's just me showing the cards one after another with some kind of like royalty-free music or something, I can potentially do that as schedule allows. So first off, I want to go ahead and talk about these extra cards. So first and foremost, extra card, we have Azazel. As you see, there isn't a goetic number up here because he's not in the Goetia. He is the scapegoat. He's one of the watchers, and for some reason he was included here with the sigil of Saturn, which is the sigil of the demon Zazel, not Azazel. And that's a bitch I'll have for a long time. That had to do with translation errors, and it's perpetuated enough at this point that there's probably some kind of egregoric sigil connection at this point, because so many people have perpetuated the, oh, this is Azazel's sigil. Yeah, sure, okay. Rant for a different day. But Azazel's in here. Baphomet is in here. And, okay. this is one where Azazel and Baphomet I both don't consider demons. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Baphomet, demonic statue. And it's used for, I believe it's the Satanic Temple has a Baphomet statue that they had done. They were trying to get it installed at the courthouse because they're like, oh, if there's Christian religious symbols, then there should be, you know, religious statues of everyone. There's the statue of Baphomet, all sorts of stuff. They have a documentary if you ever want to watch it. But, so moving on, we have Lucifer, who isn't part of the Goetia, but I consider him both angelic and demonic. And for some reason, they put him as the death card of all of their options, of all of the death demonic who are featured in this deck. They put him as the death card. I just want to sit with that for a moment. Okay. Anyway, so this one has the artwork that does not fit with the rest of them. It's a Lucifuge Rofakal. And I really hate how much it stands out. And I'm like, there has to have been some better medieval or Renaissance or even, you know, later art of Lucifuge Rofakal at some point. But yes, he's been put in here. So Moloch has been put as the devil, and I actually did a small amount of research that I put together a bunch of different sources on Moloch when I was, when he came up in a reading, because I needed to educate myself more because he's not part of the Goetia. He's not part of my wheelhouse, and, you know, I'd never worked with him before. And so if I was going to be talking to someone about working with him, then I needed to work with him so that I could speak from experience. So I dove into the books for him. And yeah, that was interesting. I might bring that stuff up sometime. And then of course Beelzebub. And we could argue about mistranslation on this as well. Baalzebub from, was it Phoenician or Canaanite? I'm not working on notes here. And, but Lord of Lords, changed to Lord of Flies. People associate him with flies enough at this point that I believe it's just accepted. Instead of being, the Heavenly Lord, he became a Lord of Rot and refused when, you know, he was demonized. So those are all of the, I believe, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. These are all of the extra cards that were added into the deck as a means of padding it out so that there were enough cards for full tarot associations. And so the next thing I kind of want to talk about here is the things he's done to some of the cards. So first up, the most obvious of them, Andrus. This card was really big visibility promotion for the deck when it came out. And as you can see, there's like a bloody fingerprint on it. There's all this blood splatter. And so it's called the Demon Possessed Tarot, and it absolutely does. He marketed heavily on, ooh, this is big, spooky, look at these scary demons. He goes into a lot of the, this demon will ruin and destroy you. And it's like, okay, so why are you making a deck that you say is for ritual use in order to bring forth demons to destroy you? Like, actually talk about their damn domains listed in the grimoires, please and thank you. I get not everyone's a demonologer. Not everyone's had good experiences with demons, or at least fruitful experiences with demons. But at the same time, if you're going to be making all of your money off of something like this, at least have some damn respect. That's my rant for the day. Thank you for coming. And so, yeah, some of us jokingly call Andros the murder owl, where it's like, Stolas is the nice owl, Andros is the other one. Um, and Sower of Discord, Slayer of Men. Yeah, that's part of the entry. I've always found that he's great for if you need something to come to a conclusion, he will make sure that it explosively comes to a conclusion. He will force that confrontation to happen very rapidly. It's like shit or get off the pot. He's great for working in tandem with other demons when you need something to very quickly happen, when you need to light a fire under that situation to get the ball running. Andros is your go-to. But, Spooky Murder Owl. Um, so AIM is another one that is a defaced card in this deck. And there's a lot of fire festivals, all of that kind of stuff going on. So there's burn marks. He, spreader of fire, the fire starter. Um, I've always seen him more as creative fire, like sparking passion and getting stuff going and really, revving you forward. But, so here he is riding a snake like a crotch rocket with a burnt card. And then there's a few of the cards which have the triangle of art, the triangle of manifestation there on the card itself. And I believe he at some point made commentary that it was for the demons that need more restraining for the deck, I guess, is what he said. It's been years since I actually looked at his content. And, if that were the case, you'd think AIM would be one of them. You think Phoenix would be one of them. I think Shax is one of them. We have Horez, which I've never thought actually needs to have any form of restraint, but that's a personal opinion. But just speaking from Shax is one that's got the triangle. There's a few of them. Well, you'd think Phoenix, but, I think Rom, not sure how you want to pronounce it. I've had luck with either pronunciation, that is. Yeah. Furfur. That makes no sense to me. Why? Why? Just why? Now the art is badass. Like, let me just show you this shit. Like, I love that art. Love it. Love it for him. But the triangle just really gets me. Beleth, okay, that one makes sense. Let's see here. Is that all of them? Yeah, that's all of them with the triangle. So, for some of them it makes sense. For some of them it really doesn't. And that's just confusing to me. And so, now we get to, I just want to take a moment. Vasago as the tower with tower artwork. Described as promoter of discord, war, arguments, and falsehood. Gives generous responses. I'm thinking of the Goetia entry here. And I wish I had my hard copy right here. I should have set that up. But, what? I mean, shows you past, present, future has the same nice demeanor as Agara's. Yeah. Working with him like, if you want to be towered, like, absolutely, I think any demon could actually, tower you as a form of expression. But I wouldn't put Visago as the tower. I would very quickly choose a whole bunch of other demons as the tower before I chose him. And maybe I'm just bitchy because he's one of the demons that I've worked with the longest, and um I had actually entered in a discussion about, would you be my patron with him? And I was very humorously shut down. But that was good because he also pointed me in the direction of my patron. And so, yeah, he's a demon of divination and finding treasure, and he's really, I enjoy working with him, even when he's, you know, being a little more eldritch. So I actually am going to pause for a second before I hit the next section, so I can stretch and get some feeling back in my legs because I am knelt at my altar right now. Okay, we are back. And so now I want to kind of talk about ways to work with the Demon Possessed Tarot. So, one of the things that I offer in my shop specifically is called the Goetic Consultation. Now, I've started using multiple different decks for this. However, when I started, it was the Demon Possessed Tarot that I was using. And as I've stated a few times, it's been the absolute workhorse of my shop. And so essentially what this is I set up a ritual and I ask of all the demons present within this deck who has, who is willing to teach this person at that point in their time, who has guidance for them, who has something that they would be willing to work with on, with that person. And it's been it's probably my most requested reading. um, it's something where over time it's gotten more complex, um, especially because beginning I had worked with a good chunk of the demons, before I started offering these. But I did go through with each and every one and be like, hey, are you willing to take part in this service that I am going to be offering, that I'm hoping to be offering? And I got the approval from all of them. um, some of them show up more than others. um, but it's been a part of the services that I offer for a few years now. And before I had this deck, before I had the digital storefront, I would do it with sigil tokens, and in person. But now that, I've gone digital, here we are with this deck. I also use the, what is it, the Torvinius Goetia deck as well. I like that deck. That's going to be a review in the future. But, so that's a major way. And so it's a one card draw, and it's specifically working with that one demon. I take time to sit with that demon, consult with them, speak with them, I call them up. um I cross-reference all of the grimoires that I have, any grimoires that mention them. I have a massive stack of books. I have hard copies of a lot of them. I have just digital of some of them that I'm still trying to get a hold of. But it's also a really, really good way to learn all of their correspondences, all of the ways that they're worked with. Many of them will have completely different ways that they are worked with in each different grimoire they feature in. Um, so it's good for me, and it's helped me learn a lot of them inside out and really get comfortable working with them, even the ones who I'm like, not someone I would call up personally for anything that I am working on in my life, but I can help offer advice because I've sat with them, I've talked with them, I've done this work. So that's definitely one way to work with this deck, specifically. Also, you can, you know, for people who are personally working with this deck, who are personally working with demons, they can also use it as a draw of what, you know, what kind of things should I be focusing on right now in my practice, or what should I be focusing on for the week, and do a card draw, and you know, you've got a demon for the week. I've considered doing demon of the week videos. I'm not sure with my schedule currently how I would do these, because it feels, I would want to draw them timely for the week rather than pre-record. So we'll have to see. But so you aren't just looking at me holding this one card of Murmur. Another way that you can work with them is using them as a focus for your ritual. Of course, that's the way a lot of people talk about. It feels like, you know, oh, this isn't a tarot deck. Maybe an oracle deck at best. This is more of a ritual tool, and absolutely, you can use this as a ritual focus. When I make my yearly altar honoring Murmur, I will go ahead and use, I have a few decks with cards for Murmur in them, and I put those cards on that altar during that time. Obviously, if I have to do readings with those decks in the meanwhile, you know, most of the time that's paused for that week, but it's something where it's like, okay, so I'll have to pull the card off. But again, usually that week is pretty clear for me. So, now using these as a tarot deck, all of these have their own tarot attribution. And I actually got out my Rider-Waite deck. I have it in this nice leather case because this is a deck that I take with me. It's my study deck. I've been reading tarot for over 20 years, and yes, I still have a teaching deck, a learning deck. I'm still studying the cards constantly, and I think that's how it should be. But personal opinions aside, so in this deck, he is the Six of Wands. So you can read these cards as though they are just the tarot cards. Now, that's never really jived completely with me. And for those of you who know my shop, you know that I do offer tarot readings with this deck. So you're probably like, wait, hold up. So those who've got those readings will understand what's going on here. But so I do offer tarot readings with these. However, I'm not just looking at the Six of Wands here. I'm also looking for the ones who are part of the Goetia. All of them have tarot card attributions that have to do with the deacons, and my brain is failing me right now. But there are tarot card attributions for all of the Goetia. And if you ever want a quick reference to those, I believe the illustrated Goetia, Aleister Crowley's, I know, everyone's going to scream real quick. Aleister Crowley's illustrated Goetia by Duquette has the tarot attributions in them for quick reference. There's also alternative sigils. Some of the demons have the same sigil. Murmur does not. I like both sigils for different reasons. But anyway, before I get more sidetracked, so you can go ahead and take, for the Goetic demons here, you can take their actual tarot attributions rather than what is on the card, and use those as part of your reading. Now, I brought Murmur here because I remember offhand what his tarot card attribution is, and that is our Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Coins, Ten of Rings if you're using the Marigold. And so one of the ways that I work with these as a tarot deck is I layer these together and try to find the connecting threads in the narrative that's going on with these. So if Murmur comes up, then I automatically have Murmur, all of his attributions and what goes with him. I have the Six of Wands that is part of the card as it was designed. And I also have the Ten of Pentacles, which is his attribution. And so I will be using all of these in order to inform my reading and inform my insight into the situation, into the query. And so, you know, something that's a simple 3-card reading becomes a 6-card with 3 demon reading very, very quickly. And that's one of the reasons why it does take a little bit of time. I have a 5-card reading as well. I'm not going to ever do a bigger spread than that with this deck as a tarot deck, just because of the fact that we then have 2 cards and a demon for the most part. There's only 6 of those cards that don't have the additional tarot card associations, so the likelihood of them coming up is somewhat low. It's probably happened twice in all of the tarot readings I've done with this deck. And so it's also something where I won't be doing, this isn't a reading that I will offer live. Like, I won't be doing this at a festival. You won't see me cracking this out at a festival. First of all, a lot of the festival groups and everything are a little bit demon shy, if I put it lightly. There's a lot of love and light. There's a lot of new age groups, and they're like, oh, evil, negative vibrations. And so the organizer of the festival that I do vend at now and then is super cool with what I do and believes that there should be a wide range of practices available to people, a wide range of knowledge available to people. And I'm super thankful for that, because she is super, super cool with, you know, with what I do and everything. But we understand that what I do is very niche, and there are people who won't want to be anywhere near it. And so I respect that, and I'm not doing demon readings at those. Usually, you know, if I do end up bringing cards, it's usually some of my oracle decks, like the Flowers from the Dead, my Magical Bones deck, you know, things, those two. Sometimes I'll bring my straight up Rider Waite, because I do read those live. And so there's a lot that goes into, if you want to use this as a tarot deck. As I said, you can go straight tarot attributions. I think that leaves a lot out. I like having, okay, so what is, you know, what's the tarot this demon's traditionally associated with? Cool. Check mark. Okay, what's the tarot card that he associated with this demon? Whether I agree with it or not. Check mark. And then what does this demon do? And how does that demon's way of operating affect those 2 tarot cards? And that's the big thing that I really bring into it, is how does that demon, say, you know, how does Murmur affect the Ten of Pentacles? So you've got you've got so much to pull from. And I believe writing it off entirely as a tarot deck is doing it a disservice. It's a lot of work. It really is. But I think it can be incredibly enlightening, because it can give you so much depth and so much specificity when it comes to those readings. I know some of the messages I've gotten back from clients were like, holy shit, you know, this just happened. And I'll be like, okay, cool. Thank you for the feedback, for letting me know that my intuition was on, that you know, the feeling that I had while I was doing the reading was correct, because that helps me improve my craft. Always review your tarot readers. But also, you know, it's something where, it just takes a lot of work with. It's a completely different style. If demons aren't your thing, I don't recommend the Occult Tarot. I hate the fact that it's called the Occult Tarot. I really do, because it's misleading. all of the occult isn't demons. A lot of the occult isn't demons. And so that's a problem. And it perpetuates a lot of shit. But it's also going off of stereotypes and marketability. So a lot of people are like, oh, I want something spooky and occult. Oh, look, this is a bunch of demons. Cool. Let's go watch The Conjuring. And I say that loving those movies as a guilty pleasure and loving making lots of commentary pointing out how the Warrens handled everything. But anyway, rant aside, that was the Demon Possessed Tarot. I may do a Q&A about working with this deck, working with some of my other demon decks in the future. I may do some collective readings that involve the demons in the future. But that's it for now. Thank you for tuning in to mostly staring at the same image over and over again. Have a good night.